Hi, good evening to everyone in social media land. Good evening, everyone. Hope you guys had a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. It didn't rain for most of the day, but now the rain has kicked in. For those who are planning to go out, just try to stay dry because it's gonna start back again, I think, in the AMs, maybe when you guys are coming back from your partying. So this is In the Now with yours truly, Sam D. I know it doesn't look like me. My hair has changed a little bit, but it is me. It is me. Hi, everyone. So tonight we're gonna have a very interesting, very informative individual here with us, and he's gonna talk to us about his book and about what he does in his profession. So let me tell you a little bit about how I came into thinking to bringing him onto the station, into onto the show. I met Clarence Bowden about maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, maybe about 2 years ago, at a 50th birthday party, and we got to talking. Very interesting, very wonderful man. And fast forward a few years into now, he's one of my social media contacts on LinkedIn, and I got a pop up that he was putting out his book, and his book is Five Steps to a Successful Re-Entry. So I'm not going to go into detail about the book. You guys can hear me now? Yeah. I'm not going to complete detail about the book right now. We'll talk about it when Clarence comes in to sit with us. But the reason why I think the content of the book is important and interesting is that the area that we live in here in Brooklyn, here in certain parts of East New York, we live smack dab in the middle of where a lot of sometimes crime happens. We may know someone who knows someone who has relative who is in and out of jail or has been in and out of jail. We may know someone who has been in and out of rehab even, or may know someone or someone who has been in and out of rehab. So taking that into context, thinking about that, let's put that on a side for a minute. hmm Okay, let me just double check with my mic because I keep going in and out. Okay, okay. So put that on a side. I once had a conversation with a young lady in my building, and she was letting me know that it is not that we, and she was talking about herself and people she grew up with. And she was saying to us, it's not that we don't know what's right or wrong. It's just the fact that we live in a society, we live in a community where this is all that's there. This is all that's around us. We live in a society that it continues to happen consistently. I may have to change my headpiece. Hello? Can you hear me now? Yeah, let me just give me a second. Let me just quickly change my headpiece. Okay, so this is better? Yeah, I believe so. Right. So she was explaining to us that at the end of the day, this is all that they know. They wake up in this environment. They go to school in this environment. They grow up in this environment. They come into adulthood in this environment. And these are like young teens, from you talking about 16 and up, straight out of high school. That's all they know, making that quick money, seeing their friends, their cousins, their uncles into that lifestyle. And at the end of the day, they think that that's all they can do. They don't think that they can do anything better. And the few times that they do try to change or try to better themselves, they get probably pushed down by those same friends, family members, cousins, uncles, aunts, whoever the case may be. They push them down, and then they're stuck the same place that they grew up in, and they can't really move. And when I read Clarence's book, I went right back to that moment when I had that conversation with that young woman, and she was talking about all of these things. Because some of the things that are said in the book, some of the points that he makes in the book, as I just said, it's 5 steps to a successful re-entry. Some of the points in this book just reigns true, and it is so pinpointed, it is so on point that you cannot say no, this doesn't really happen, because we have seen it, we have heard it. Hi Marina, good evening to you. Hi Alana, thank you for tuning in. We have seen it happening, we have seen these things around us, even though we are from the Caribbean, but we live in an area where it is a cold pot. We have people from Puerto Rico, we have people from Haiti, we have people from Dominica, St. Vincent, Jamaica, all over. And this is an epidemic that is going to always affect us. It is something that is always there. It is something that's affecting not only the individuals who are incarcerated, but also the families of those individuals. So we're gonna bring Mr. Bowden out in a few minutes. After we break, we're gonna bring him in, and he's gonna talk to us about his book, why he thought that the book was so important to be done, and it's important to bring awareness to individuals who are going through the term that he used, recidivism. And we're going to explain to you what recidivism means, and we're just going to gain some more knowledge on the aspect, on the term, on the situation, on the concept. So don't go away. Well, you can go away, you can go get your drink, you can go get your coffee, you can go get your snack, your fruit, your cocoa tea if you're cold because it's raining now, and come right back and sit with us in the Now. We'll be back with you in a few minutes. Bring him.
Oh, do I need to take the hat off or no? Oh, it's good? Not yet, not yet. Okay, just here, I'll just hold this like that.
Hi, good evening, and we are back. And this is my wonderful guest, Mr. Bowden. Mr. Bowden, say hello to everyone.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for watching.
Yes. So, first and foremost, Mr. Bowden, let's talk about, and you know what, I'm not going to call you Mr. Bowden because Mr.
Right.
Bowden sounds like I'm talking to my grandfather or something.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm going to call you Clarence.
Yes,
And
that's
Clarence
good.
is my father's name.
Oh, well, Clarence is a special name, by the way.
Yes, it
All
is.
right.
So we're going to talk about what is it that you do professionally.
Okay. All right, so I was recently signed director of the Center of Treatment Innovation
Mhm.
program.
Mhm.
Now, this is a new federally funded initiative addressing the opioid crisis.
Mhm.
We are one of the only programs in the city to receive this STR grant. I can explain that at another time.
Mhm.
But the grant basically covers opioid addiction, preventing and stopping the overdoses that have been taking place.
Mhm.
Now, your listeners can look up that we've had 72,000 opioid overdose deaths in 2017.
Mhm.
That is more than HIV deaths and a whole lot of other deaths put together.
Right.
That is a serious amount of deaths related to overdosing regarding
On
opioids,
opioids.
on opioids. So my role as director of this program is to put our team
Mhm.
out in the community.
Mhm.
We provide assessments, screenings, referrals, and transportation to individuals suffering from opioid addiction. We will go to that person, meet with them, get them into treatment, assess, do an intake, and refer, and provide the care that these individuals need.
So, question, when they are getting treatment, do they get treatment do they have to come in every day for treatment, or are they housed in for treatment during that treatment period? And how long does that treatment period may last? Because I know each individual is different.
Yes.
So would that treatment last, like, what is the longest that you have that treatment for, and what is the minimum? Like, does it have to be, it cannot be less than 3 weeks. They have to be in there for at least 3 weeks to at least get some kind of, you have to see some kind of change, or is it more than that?
All right, so you raise a couple of issues. So first of all, let me just say that our program is New York Therapeutic Communities.
Right.
We're in our 40 plus year, and I want to do a shout out to Seep Varma, who is now president of New York Therapeutic Communities. He has some huge shoes to follow, because Ron Williams, the former president, started this program in the correctional facilities, Arthur Kill, Staying Out, and also in Bayview, which is for women. So to answer your question, individuals that we meet with in the community or that call us, we will assess them to determine what their level of care is.
Right.
So let's say we have an individual that is at risk of overdose or is currently in need of treatment. We will refer or actually transport that person to a detoxification facility. That could be Arms Acres or one of the other programs that we work with. So we will take that person. Now that person, once he is there, or she, because we work with both in our catchment area, male and female. This new initiative covers the entire borough of Brooklyn.
Okay.
So not as opposed to in the past, there would be this catchment area here, there. We are focusing on all of Brooklyn with a focus and on addressing opioid overdoses with what's called medication-assisted treatment. Now, and I can explain that as we go further. So once that individual is assessed, we do the intake. We will take them to a program to do a detox. Detox will last usually from 3 to 7 days.
Depending on how.
Depending on their level of use, yes.
Right, okay.
So after that, we will then reach out and go to that detox, determine what's next for that individual. Now, we do this because it's a patient care model. So we're going to be working with that patient to see what they want to do.
Right.
But we also going to be encouraging them to follow what we are recommending.
Right.
So our program have a team of what's called CRPAs, which are Certified Recovery Peer Advocates. These are individuals that are in recovery themselves and that have been through it.
Kind of like a big brother or
big brother, mentor,
right.
coach. So we have them. Then we also have care managers, and we also have which are called QHP staff, qualified health providers, who are social workers and individuals like that who will do a full assessment to determine the level of care that that person needs. And once we sit down with that individual, and if that individual is willing and receptive, then we will go to the next step. And the next step will be either a 30-day rehab, or it can be a 6-month residential, or a 9 to 12-month intensive residential. So it depends on those factors there. But also there's another factor, which is, okay, does this person have what's called a legal mandate? A legal mandate could be one of the entities of law enforcement that says you must do treatment. You have been in the community committing crimes, and we've had enough of your nonsense, so to speak, and you need to do something.
Right.
Then we also have the family. We have significant others, wives, children, where they say, okay, you cannot come home if your behavior continues. Right. So those are some of the factors that we look at when we're addressing where an individual is going to go, how long they're going to be, and all of that is based on, again, what they want, but also what the family or the referral and like the mandate is agreeing to. And insurance comes into play also, because the individuals need to have identification, they need to have insurance, but for us, we will assist those individuals in need to get into treatment and to get those insurances. So our program is called Center of Treatment Innovation. We call it CODI for short.
Right.
Right, and we are located at 1665 Pitkin Avenue. That is our office, and we just started up in June.
That's pretty recent.
Pretty recent. So I was transferred over there as the director of that program because I'm the former clinical director of the Serendipity 1 Intensive Men's Residence, which is on Fulton Street. That is long-term treatment for men, but we also have a long-term treatment facility for women on Bedford, which is under a great renovation. When that facility opens up, it's going to be state-of-the-art. So women going to be going there, they're going to be living there, they're going to be getting quality care treatment from that staff. And they are helmed by a dynamite woman named Lisa Alexander. She's a dynamite director. She really cares about the women, and she's been doing it for a long time, almost as long as I, because I've been doing this work since 1989.
Wow.
Right, so I have my own background, and just a little, go into the book for a minute. In the book, I talk a little bit about my past.
Yes.
So when we get into the book, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And the reason why I'm going to talk about that is because of the fact that when you're writing something like this, you have to be genuine, but also there needs to be a level of credibility. And so I didn't want to just put in there all of the, okay, I read about this, I heard about that. I wanted to put into the book.
And to make a connection to the readers.
Yes, connection to the readers, but also to let them see that, okay, this individual has walked down that path, have done that.
And has been successful.
Right. All right, so that's what that is. All right.
So we're going to dive into the book. The camera's all right.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're going to dive into the book a little bit. And I'm just going to read, just a little excerpt from the book that gives the readers out here, well, our viewers out here, an idea of what the book would entail. So, coming home from a prison or jail sentence is a serious event that requires many things. An individual in this predicament has to have answers and basic needs met. There is a need for understanding, compassion, financial assistance, and emotional support. For the individuals who continue to recidivate, much more is needed. Within the pages of this book are 5 steps that can assist with that process and make this trip home from incarceration the last one. So you guys heard recidivism, and I'm sure you're wondering, what is recidivism? So this book is based on the term recidivism. And recidivism is the act of a person repeating an undesirable behavior after they have either experienced negative consequences of that behavior or have been trained to extinguish that behavior. So you want to elaborate a little bit on recidivism for our viewers?
Okay, so an example of recidivism, if you take it in a nutshell, you have an individual or individuals that have gotten their first experience with criminal justice. So got arrested. And that arrest resulted in going to a precinct, followed by being booked at one of the central booking offices, and then going either to Rikers Island or one of the other jails in the city.
Okay.
So you have that first experience, which is trauma.
Right.
That's a traumatic experience. But yet, so after that, you would think that an individual in that situation would say, wow, I don't want to do that again.
I don't want to go through that again.
No, I don't want to do that. But yet, so recidivism comes in because that same individual will come out of jail, and let's say they spent some time, some months, maybe even some years, and they will come out, and what will happen is that if things are not working right for them, and they're not really willing to let go of some of those behaviors and thinking and attitude previously, they commit another crime.
Right.
And then they are back in the system.
So recidivism is based on a continued cycle.
A repeated criminal behavior.
A repeated cycle of just continuously doing the same thing.
Yes.
The same negative thing
Yes.
continuously, over and over and over again.
Yes. And what's key is individuals have already experienced negative consequences of the behavior. You see, so once an individual is arrested, it impacts the family, the community. If they're working, it impacts that. If they're in school, they have children, it impacts so many things. But yet,
They
in
make the decision to go back and
to
keep
go back.
doing the same thing.
Right. So
Right.
that's recidivism in a nutshell. And the key is doing that behavior despite the negative consequences of it.
So, what made you decide to
Mm.
embark on writing this book? What is the main reason, and what did you feel you were going to accomplish when you got it done and out there into the public?
Okay. So I initially started writing a book by notes in 2009. I was working in a health center. So, so working in that health center in Brooklyn, I was seeing individuals I had worked with previously when I was a deputy director of work release. But this time, seeing some of these individuals, I was getting information from them on maxing out on their sentence. Now they're HIV positive, but yet they're also having new charges with longer sentences. And you know, so I just started, the more I worked with them, the more I counseled, provided services, supervised their case managers, I was seeing more and more of these individuals. And so I started just taking notes, writing, and moving forward, I had so much material that I had been writing about. I said that, well, let me see if I can do something a little bit more. Because I've always been an advocate, because I have my own past with this. So I've always been an advocate to do something to help those individuals that either are less fortunate or don't have the information.
Right.
So that's why I wrote the book, and that's what got me started. And it took a long time to write. Actually, I would put the book down for a year or two, pick it up, put it down again, pick it up. Life happens, but I would never give up on it. Yeah. Right. So so I had a situation happen in 2016, and that offered me time. Let's just say to be home, and being home during that time period, it was a lot of things going on with me personally, that I decided that, you know what, I'm in the house. I am not really doing a whole lot other than watching movies, Facebook, internet. So I just went to my drawer, took out the drawer, and just put it all on a bed and dumped it. And, you know, I just put it together in some order. And the rest is, let's say, like they say, history.
History.
Yeah.
So the book is pretty easy. I must say, I read this book in, 15, 20 minutes. It's complete. It's simple steps.
Yes. Yes.
It's steps that can be easily related. And it's 5.
Yes.
5 simple steps.
5 simple steps.
And what I really love about this book, or what I would say, what I can relate so much to this book, is the fact that those 5 steps are so close to home. And when I say close to home, I mean you can relate to it because you've seen it happen, or
Yes.
you've heard about it,
Right.
or you've witnessed it in some way, or you know, someone has said it to you about a friend or a family or somebody.
Right.
It's not something that when you read you would be like, what is this talking about, or what is this about?
Yes.
It's something that when you read it, you can easily say, yes,
Yes.
that has happened, or that can happen, or that is happening.
Yeah.
So why didn't you come up with 10 steps or 13 steps? Why 5?
Keeping it simple. In the recovery community, there is a term that we say, keep it simple. Stupid is always added at the end. So when I was writing it, like I said, I had so much material. I had enough material for a novel. And so when I sent it, first I got it copyrighted. First I consolidated all the necessary information. Then I got that copyrighted. And then I started searching around for a publisher. And the publisher and we had a conversation about the audience I wanted to reach.
Right.
But also we talked about, do I want a novel about me, a biography? And I said no.
Right.
I want something for individuals that are incarcerated or formerly incarcerated. And I wanted it to be something that would be easy for these men and women to carry around, behind the wall meaning in prison,
In prison.
and that they can take and share with them when they're sitting in the yard, the day room, or some other place. That would not be so to the point where it is, it's bothersome to carry or anything like that. So that's how I came up with it. So then when I submitted the first draft, my publisher said, "Well, do you want to add more of your personal?" So I said, "I don't really want to put too much of my personal because then it's going to read like a biography." So then I had conversations with other people that I consult with, and then I said, "You know what? Let me focus on making it going back to simple." So I made it simple and came up with just 5, easy to follow, more importantly, easy to read.
Easy to read.
That wasn't going to be very lengthy. That is going to impact right away, and then an individual will put it down and then pick it up again.
And pick up from right where your profession. In terms of the individuals who are constantly recidivating,
Right.
what are the age groups of those individuals? Because that's something that has always piqued my interest. I know that this time around, like in this day and age, we have a lot of young people,
You're right.
committing themselves into crime, into the crime world, getting arrested, disappearing from their home for a while, and then coming
Right.
back into society. But do we have older individuals who are older, who are repeating that negative behavior?
Yes. So let's look at the 2 age groups, and let's look at the demographic of the. Now let's bring it even lower to like the 14 to the 25-year-olds.
14.
Right. And then let's go to the 25 to the 50, 60 years old.
Right.
So right now we are seeing our elderly individuals incarcerated. They are aging out of the prison system. Aging out of the prison system is that these individuals have gotten to the point where their age and their health conditions is a strain, so to speak, on criminal justice. So some of them, depending on what their charges are still being kept inside. But then there are others who are being released. And it's a compassionate release where they're going released through the parole because of their age and their health condition.
Okay.
But yet, even some of these elderly gentlemen are going back to the prison system. Because again, they're coming back into a system where we have internet, we have computers, we have all of these things that some of these individuals really didn't get exposed to. And some of them have lost their families, some of their wives have died while they were in prison, so they're coming out and they're really alone, and there's not a lot of services for them. Or support. Right, which is what in the book, let me just go back to that for a minute. In the book, I wanted to ensure that there were resources for those individuals that are coming out. I don't just want to write a book and say, okay, here's some steps on how you can go about doing it. I wanted also to be that there are resources.
About 10 pages full of resources.
There are resources, and the reason for the resources is because I looked and I made sure that each one of those resources was active. Now, who knows a year or 2 from now what will happen with some of those programs. But that's why I put some government agencies in it that we know will be around.
And it's important that those individuals, as you said, some of those older gentlemen, their wives have died, they may not have family living, maybe the children have moved to another state completely, so they're basically all alone. And when they do come out of the system and they come into society in an era that they're not completely familiar with, they feel completely lost and completely out of sorts, and they don't know where to begin, where to go, and how to go about doing anything. So having those resources is vital, is key.
It is
because
very key.
Then it's a way for them to say, okay, this is what they can call home for now, and they have individuals there who will understand their dilemma. Not the fact that they came out of being incarcerated, but the fact that they are coming into a totally different era from when they went in.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
And they can, transcend themselves and show them that, okay, this is how things are done now, and it's understandable that it's difficult for you, but we are here to help. We are here to listen.
Yes.
So that's a way of giving them moral support, giving them some kind of stability too.
Yes. But also with those individuals, we run into those who have become so institutionalized that
Right.
they'll come out, and once they come out, their adjustment is so profound that they go back in, and that's where their recidivism. Those individuals will recidivate because they'll feel that, you know what, I I did better when I was
Was inside.
incarcerated. Yeah, I had a level of comfort, a level of, even for some of them, power, respect. Now we got situations where they're coming out and there's no respect for the elderly for some of them, and depending on what state or community they're in, they are ostracized. So there's that with that age group. Now that other age group from the 14 to 25, or even going up to 30, 35, these individuals we see are part of the gangsters. They are the gangbangers. They are our opportunists who will see someone in the street, you or me, or someone in our, that could be our neighbor, that they are willing to hit in the head and take whatever they have because, they don't want to go and do the hard work that is necessary. So that is that easy money they see, and not thinking about what going to a prison is going to do to them.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because they feel that one of the first pages of the book I talk about, did you really do the time standing on your head?
Mm-hmm.
And that's an old saying because individuals used to say that they can go into jail, do that time without any problems whatsoever. So that term standing on your head, that's what it
That's
refers
what
to.
it means. Okay.
Yeah. So, however, individuals do not do the time standing on their head. Now, yeah, there may be some that may be able to go through that process because of connection, strength, and contacts. But for the majority, individuals go through the prison system with some serious traumatizing, either as a witness or as a victim. You don't come out of that system unscathed in some way or another. But yet, we see that these individuals continue to take that chance and put themselves and their families at risk to go back inside. And so this is what we see. In my book, I'm hoping that it's used as a guide,
As a guide.
you see. So,
Right.
because there are many books that are available addressing the issue of recidivism and reentry. There's a lot of programs. There are a lot of programs that's doing a lot of great stuff as it relates to individuals coming home from prison. My book, not to separate from any of those others, but mine is more of a guide. It's a pocket guide, so to speak, that they can have
A
in their hand.
reminder.
A reminder. They can have it in their back pocket. And when they're putting themselves, or even the thought of going back to the neighborhood, so to speak, or going back to the block to do what they used to do because they're having a bad day, they have no money, and they're thinking about, you know what, I got to get some money. Because at the end of the day, that's what drives a lot of it, is getting some money or getting a drug. And
Mm-hmm.
to get a drug, you got to get some money.
Exactly.
So those two things are tied together.
Right.
So we want to provide treatment to those individuals. I want to challenge the thinking of those individuals to put them in a position of really remembering that, you know what, you can do better. You can work hard. You can accomplish things. You can do things. You are special. You are important. You need to place a value on your freedom. If you're not going to place a value on your freedom yourself, then place a value on it for your loved ones. Because your loved ones are impacted every time they go to jail. Every time. If you have children, what about them? What about your loved one? Because the families, they all know what time it is as it relates to this here.
Mm-hmm.
They know where you're going, what you're doing. They know from the crowd that you're running with what's going to happen. Yeah, so you may have a good run for a few months. Okay. You may be able to bring some money to the house, pay some bills. Okay. In the long run, there is going to
Nothing.
be a reckoning. And that reckoning comes into the form of either a casket or prison systems. And that prison sentence, like I mentioned in the book, could be a number of years. So that's where we're looking at when we're talking about who recidivate and why, and the dynamics that happen behind these individuals that go back.
What is in 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 the number of years that you've been doing this,
Hmm.
and the number of people that you have helped, um, what is your success rate
Okay.
that you think is relative to the work that you and your colleagues and the ones who work underneath you have been doing? What is the success rate that you think is?
It's a good question. Since I've been with New York Therapeutic Communities, and I've been there 6 years now as the clinical director of the men's facility, I would say that in the first 3 years after an individual successfully graduates and completes, I would say that the success rate for those individuals is maybe 60, 70%.
Oh, that's high.
Right. But then that success rate goes down as years go farther. For instance, at 10 years, the success rate, it drops because individuals start doing things that they have been comfortable doing in the past. So I would say that that success rate at 10 years, and these are what I'm seeing, but I'm sure there could be some statistics, if looked at from our agency, that may question or may agree with. But I would say, since I'm there, I would say, and the individuals that I've spoken to, that I've seen that's come back, I would say at least after 10 years, the individuals that have been through the program, either while I was director or that I've known that were there, I'll say that the success rate at least 30 to 40%
That's not
after
too
10
bad.
years.
After
And
10 years.
I would say that, and that's something that myself, that's from me, that's not from any statistics that
That's
I
from
would
your
say.
own vision,
That's
from
my
what
own
you have been seeing,
perspective,
and
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I know that you have basically been dealing with men,
Right.
but compared to the women,
Mm-hmm.
is it higher or lower? Is there a higher case of women being incarcerated and recidivating, or is it the same, or is it lower?
Well, I would say from the information that I've read in conferences that I've been to, they're very similar.
Very similar.
Very similar, yeah, because you have
Wow.
to understand a lot of women have to survive. Some of them are in relationships where they are the breadwinner or the or wearing the pants, so to speak. So from what I've read and from the conferences and the information I've received, it's pretty similar. Yeah. Hmm. And all of the stats and information, and SAMHSA, which is a government organization, they have a website where you can look this up. Oasis, which is another website where you can look up information. Um, you will see some of the stats, and all of them are frightening. You see, so but yeah, and this opioid crisis has brought those numbers even higher. So, and then we have the other drugs that have not gone away. We still have cocaine. We still have crack. We're having incidences of K2 spice running rampant. We just had an incident recently in Brooklyn. There was one in Connecticut the other day where there were overdoses of individuals just profiteering by offering up free bags of K2 spice that is so spiked with who knows what substance to get individuals to come back.
Wow.
So we see that, and it is so prevalent. So those of us on the front lines, this is what we're up against, and we need the community to support us. We need funds. We need organizations and stations like yours and others to put the word
Put the
out.
word out.
Yeah, drug treatment works. Uh, Medication assisted treatment works. It is effective. If there is someone that is struggling with an opioid or heroin addiction, medication assisted treatment is one of the first avenues to address that issue. It works, and I can't I can't
You can't
speak
stress it
loud
enough.
enough or
Yeah.
strong enough for those individuals. If there's individuals who are listening that has a friend, family member, neighbor
Mm-hmm.
that is struggling with an addictive disorder, please give me a call, reach out to me. I'll give my email address, cbowden at stayinout.org, and it's spelled STAYN as in Nancy, OUT.org. cbowden, stayinout.org, all lowercase. Hit me up with an email. You need some information, you have someone that needs some help, give us a call. All right?
Is there a number, a number that anyone can call that is anonymous in a sense that if they want to find out information or
Mhm.
if they want to get help for someone,
Right.
but in an anonymous way that they can call quickly to find out?
There are a number of hotlines that they can call. 311 is one. The Oasis hotline is another.
And they can just Google that.
They can Google that.
Google Oasis.
And also in the book, I have the Samsha treatment hotline
Let me look through the book.
and the resources. Now, also, by next Tuesday, our office, the Center of Treatment Innovation, our phone number, because like I mentioned, it's a new program, but our phone number and fax number will be available. All right, so I will be providing that information to Dawn, and she will be rebroadcasting that information. Our flyer is going to be up.
Right.
We just got our site. Everything with this program is new. However, though, there are phone numbers that you can call, and I want to hold up a brochure,
Sure.
and I hope that when I hold it up that you can see this brochure.
I'll be able
You,
to.
you might not be able to see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
All right.
too much.
Not
but
too much. But what you're looking at is the brochure for the Staying Out programs.
Mhm.
All right, so let me read. I can at
And
least.
there's a number on
Right,
there
there's
too.
the main number. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide the number to the men's residential treatment facility. So that number is 718-398-0096. You can call that number. Now, I was the former clinical director of that site.
Okay.
So I'm no longer that director, but you can speak with Mr. Cesar Sosa. He's the senior director of that site. And
Yeah.
for our women's program,
Serendipity too.
Serendipity 2, that number is 718-802-0572. And you can speak with Miss Lisa Alexander. She is director of that women's program. And we also have 2 outpatient centers. One of them is in Brooklyn. The director of that is Miss Susan James. Her number is 347-770-8650. All right, so you can call and you will get the director of those programs. And lastly, we have the director of our Queens Outpatient Center. His name is Mr. Ventura, 718-657-2021. Those are the main numbers to those 2 residential and 2 outpatient centers. Our number for the Center of Treatment Innovation mobile outreach team will be up soon. All right, but you can reach me on the through email at cbowden@stayinout.org.
So, Mr. Bowden, let's talk about. We spoke about so many little things, and we're not going to talk about the 5 steps because the 5 steps is it's imperative that you get the book to read about the 5 steps.
But I want to just share an excerpt from, I believe it's step 3.
Step 3.
Right, and it's also on the back of the book. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so right, so I want to share, and this goes back to why individuals go back and what happens and why
they
people recidivate.
Yes.
The step deals with delusional thinking. See, delusional thinking is that thinking that things are going to be different and you're going to be doing the same thing, but you're going to be expecting a different result from doing the same thing.
And that makes no sense.
Right.
Right.
That's delusional. So how are you going to continue doing the same thing with a different result? It's not going to happen. You need to do something different. And this is what I talk about in step 3 of the book. And I'm giving some information to those individuals that read the book on what they can do to change that delusional thinking. And if you don't change that delusional thinking, you will be going back to prison for who knows how long this time. All right. So yeah, that's what I want to share that part.
That's like the hump part of the
Yes.
5 steps.
That's the
Yes,
hump part.
yes. And so individuals who are interested in getting the book, where can they get it?
Okay, so it is available now on Amazon.com
Hmm.
and BarnesandNoble.com. In 2 weeks, it will be available electronically through the Nook and all those other things. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's going
So
to be
an
available
e-reader, it will be available as
as
an
an e-reader.
e-reader.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So, excuse me, just a little. So, the publisher is Christian Faith Publishing. It is $14.95 for the paperback, and I have a paperback in here.
Well,
But
I have
here's
a
a
hard
hard
cover,
copy.
and
Right.
the paperback is just a glossy, soft covered book
That can be
that's
folded.
easily folded.
Yes, and you can carry it around with you. You can share it. And please, this is a plea that I'm making to anyone listening or watching on Facebook. Um, if it doesn't apply to you, it most likely may apply to a loved one, a neighbor, or a friend. Get it for them. Get them a gift of this book. It will save lives.
Hmm.
All right, because recidivism, a lot individuals don't feel that okay, so that individual he's going in and out of jail, it doesn't impact me, but it does. It impacts all of us, and we need to do something about it. This is my way of doing something. You can assist me by making a gift of this book to someone that you feel has been going in and out of the criminal justice system and not changing their behavior because they feel that they're predetermined or is predestined for them to go in and out of jail. And that is not true. All right, so that's my plea to the audience.
Please get the book. It is a really easy read. You'll be done with it in no time, and it is extremely informative. It is something that I think people should have. It not only is a means to like you will know what's in the book and know, all right, if I have a family member or
Right.
friend that I can give it to, but it also keeps you aware. It keeps you knowledgeable
Hmm.
of if you do happen to see something that's happening that could be recidivism, you can easily relate to it
Yes.
and say, okay, this is happening, and maybe I should take action and
Right.
try to get help for that person or
Sure.
that individual because you never know um, how recidivism can affect anyone. It could affect you, it could affect your neighbor, it could affect your best friend,
Hmm.
it could affect anybody.
Yes.
And it's something that is really an epidemic.
It is. Actually, in this country, it impacts more because the United States, we incarcerate more people than any other country in the world,
Yes.
the United States.
Hmm.
So now we have what's called private corporations running prisons. So it is profitable for individuals to continue to recidivate. It is money in the pockets of these private corporations that are making millions of dollars
When
of individuals going in and out of the
in and
prison
out of
system.
prison.
Right. So they love it. The
They
sad
love recidivism.
they love it. The sad part is those that's going in and out of the prison system are individuals that are black and brown.
And they're just going further and further into the rabbit hole.
Further and further into the rabbit hole, and that's a very good point. That's right, because that rabbit hole leads nowhere. So yeah. So it's an important subject, and anyone that wants to do further research on it, just type in recidivism rates, and you will see hundreds of links
Hmm.
to it. It's a serious subject. We need to do something about it. I'm really happy that Dawn asked me to come on the show, that I'm able to share it. I'm also very, very happy to be able to plug our Center of Treatment Innovation program because it is new. And actually, this is really our first opportunity to
let the
broadcast
community,
it.
yeah, let
Yeah.
the community know that there is something there that's
Yes.
available
Yes.
to the needs of individuals who
Mhm.
are suffering from any drug addiction.
Right. That's right. And the other part of it is that, and I have to say this, one of the key tenets of this new program is we will come to you. You see, so
If it's difficult for you to come to them,
we will
you
come to
guys
you.
will make the effort
Yes.
and go over to the individual.
We will go directly. We are. It's called mobile outreach services, and mobile outreach is that you call one of my staff. no matter what time, because we have, and I'm going to take brief to say this, we have something called telehealth,
Mhm.
which is counseling via telephone. So you will call one of the caseworkers or one of the CRPA staff in your time of need, and you will be provided counseling right then and there with a step to address your behavior. And if you need
Mm.
treatment, we will get you there. All right, so that's important also. The telehealth, the mobile part of it is that we will transport you to and from your treatment location.
Mhm.
We will get you there. We will assist you.
Mhm.
And we are covering all of Brooklyn, so there is no situation where there's race, color, or creed or nationality. No, we are servicing all of Brooklyn, everyone. Okay.
So I want to ask one last question before we tie up.
Mm-hmm.
What's your next step? What's the next process for you individually and for your organization that you work with? What's the next step
Mm-hmm.
for it?
So for right now, since this is the newest endeavor of our organization, we are doing a lot of focusing on getting this program up and running. But our residential facilities are on the forefront also of providing care and providing treatment beds to those individuals in need of residential. Like I mentioned earlier, our women's facility is under a major renovation, and that is going to be a state of the art facility for women in Brooklyn. We are all excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the newer things that's taking place. Our outreach programs are doing very well. They are in the community. We're doing presentations. Matter of fact, tomorrow evening I'll be taking the train to Albany for a conference, returning Tuesday. So we are out there. We are promoting. We're providing services. We are in Brooklyn. We're in Queens. We're looking to move into other boroughs or partner with other programs in those other boroughs to make sure that we do everything we can
Mm-hmm.
to impact this opioid crisis and stop the dying. Because that's what's key for us. We want to stop the dying. And our program was put in place to do that.
Okay.
So again, I'm just going to say 5 steps to a successful
Yes.
reentry.
Get the book,
It's
Five
available.
Steps to a Successful Reentry. It is available on Amazon.
Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com,
BarnesandNoble.com.
and soon through
Soon
the
on
e-reader.
e-reader.
Yes.
And you could just type it in your search engine and it will pop up very easily. Um, it's there for everyone
For everyone.
to look into.
Yes.
And as I said, it's a very quick and easy read. It's very informative. It's very easy to follow and it's easy to relate to as well.
Mhm.
So get the book, have a read, keep it there, go back and read it again, go back and read it again. It's something that you can read over and
Over and over again.
Yeah.
And my contact information is in the back of the book also. So
Yeah.
my personal email. So if you want to email me, you can. And I'll respond. It may take some time, but I will
Yeah,
respond.
it is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and it
that's
will
my
always-
personal. But my work email I provided because, again, individuals need help. As we're sitting here,
Mhm.
there could be maybe 5, 10 overdoses taking place as we're sitting here.
Wow.
That's
Within
how,
the hour.
yes, that's how serious this crisis is.
Right.
Very serious. All right, so I guess I'll say thank you, Dawn, for inviting
You want
me.
to say anything before we close off? Anything that you want to say to our viewers?
Yes, I would. First, I want to say again, thank you for inviting me. I want to say to any of the New York Therapeutic Community staff who is watching, administrative or clinical staff, thank you for watching. We have a journey to take with our Cody program. Looking forward to all of your assistance. To all of the individuals on Facebook, my friends, those that I connected with, I want to thank you also. We have a job to do, and our job is to stop the deaths, prevent recidivism, and how we can do that is by talking to each other, identifying. We can see it. We know who our children in our neighborhoods are. We know who are struggling. We need to reach out to them. We need to start saying hello and good morning in the morning. We need to say that. We need to stop walking by each other and like we are strangers. No, embrace somebody. Say hello. Give a hug. All right. Let's get this thing working where we can turn things around. We got a president in office who is not really for us. All right. So just take that with you.
Okay. So we want to thank Mr. Clarence Barden coming in tonight and speaking with us. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us
Thank you.
this evening and
Hmm.
giving us some insights and some knowledge. I mean, knowledge is key,
Yes.
and it's very good to always learn something different or learn something new of what's happening around us. And we appreciate you taking the time to come in
Okay.
to speak to us about your book, about your organization, about the program that you're involved in.
Hmm.
So, if any of you may know someone who is going through any kind of opioid crisis or um, any kind of addiction, be it crack, be it heroin, be it, as you said, the opioid,
Hmm.
please reach out to Mr. Bowden. Google it. You
Hmm.
can Google, is it AOS?
Uh, the book title.
No, you were saying some of the guides and the sources.
You're still.
Um, is it AOS?
Oh, you
Yeah.
can Google Oasis. All right.
Oasis,
All
right.
right. Okay.
I said
And
it wrong.
yeah,
I
but
said
that's okay.
AOS.
Oasis is one of the governing bodies of treatment in New York State. It's a very informative organization that
And you
will
can
help.
get a lot of information from
You can
that
get a
site.
lot of
So
information from that
it's
site.
OASAS. It's
Right.
oasas.gov.
Hmm.
And they even have a number right here, and that is 518-457-7077.
Right. And just add, Samsha is another website where they can get free information mailed to them about substance abuse disorders and other information. Okay?
So, Mr. Bowden, I want to thank you so much for coming
Thank you.
in. And thank you to all our Watch Radio listeners and watchers, because over here we don't listen to radio, we watch radio. So we want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in this evening and listening in on the aspects of recidivism, on the aspects of the program that you have.
Mhm.
And we have given you so much information. Take that into forbearance. And thank you, Kelly. Thank you for putting that up so that people can see. So Kelly just put up the site, and it's oasas.gov.
Yes.
So you can pull that up and get tons of information if you need to. Get tons of information from there. Please, guys, get the book, take a read. If you know anyone that may need help or is in need of help,
Right.
please reach out to them, reach out to the program, and see what help that you can get for them. So, Mr. Bowden, thank you so much. We're
Thank
going to
you.
have you to log off, and then I'm going to quickly come
Let me
back
just-
in.
Can I just say one thing?
Sure.
And I have to say, thank you, my wife Sandra. She who just walked over here. And any political views that I've expressed are mine alone, not those of our organization. I really want to stress that anything political is my views alone, not of the organization.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Bowden. We're
You're
going to hope to see and hear from you very soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll
All right.
be right back.
All right. And this gentleman had just got to come on the radio some weeks ago.
Hi, I'm back. So we're just logging off. We're just closing off tonight. I just want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. This was a very heavy topic, very interesting topic to touch base on, because a lot of people don't want to talk about the negativity in terms of incarceration, drug addiction, and drug abuse. And I think that it's really important to touch base and to bring awareness to not only ourselves but to the people who are around us, because even those people who are going through those addictions don't realize that they are actually going through it. They think that they can handle it on their own, or they think that it's not something that really needs to be looked into. And having spoken to Clarence this evening, we realize and we can touch base and pinpoint that it happens and can happen to anybody. And as he said, Recidivism is something that happens continuously within people who are incarcerated, and it affects families, it affects friends, it affects communities. So we have to bear that in mind. The information is there for all, or oasas.gov. Please log in, get the information, look out for anything that may be of interest to you. If you know a family member or a friend or a friend of a friend who may need help, please reach out. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in this evening. And next weekend, I will not be there. I will be out. It's my birthday weekend. I will be on vacation. So there will be no in the now. But we will be back in full swing for Labor Day weekend, and we're hoping to bring you something really spicy and really hot and really sizzling. So tune in for that. And what's happening tonight? Oh yes, we have our senile boat ride. Well, not ours, but we have senile boat ride happening tonight by a patron of ours, Lavan. So it's happening from midnight. It's a midnight boat ride. It's happening from midnight, I believe, till 4 a.m. We also have um, a party that's happening, I think, at Sonia. Is it Joan Miller's birthday party? No? Okay, I guess I'm wrong. I'm not too sure about that one. But if you guys are into having that senile boat ride, please show up. It's gonna be happening at Sheepshead Bay, and I think boarding is at 11, if I'm correct. So check out and look out for that, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Okay? Be safe, and in the meantime, make it count each and every second, or each and every day. Good evening. Good night, everyone. Bye.